The broadcast is now starting. All attendees.
Good morning, everyone. This is Mark Raymakers here with Insurance Agency Marketing Services, and you are attending the National Guardian Life Trust webinar with one of our top producers, John Enting. Morning, John.
Good morning, Mark.
John is actually one of our top producers, so he is in the field just like you are. He had been selling hundreds and thousands of dollars in premium, if not millions, before he brought the product to us. And so what better person to help us with this webinar this morning than someone who's actually out in the field writing this product and qualifying for the National Guardian Life conventions, their trips. So we're going to go ahead, and a couple things I want to let you know. First off, we will be recording this webinar, so if there's anything that you want to go back and review, any questions, product details, etc., it'll be emailed over to you. Should be by the end of the day here. And then, of course, if you have any questions, go ahead and type those in the question box. We'll address those as we go. I'm going to go through a few slides here on Insurance Agency Marketing Services, telling you a little bit about us, what we do to provide benefits and services to our licensed producers, as well as a couple of different polls. So we'll go through this real quick because I know time is very valuable. I know John has taken time out of his business to help us this morning. So in that respect, let's go ahead and let's get moving. So real quick here, one of the things that we like to do, just like yourself, as far as obtaining referrals, we financially will compensate you for any referral that you send over to us. And so this morning, while we're going through this webinar, or maybe when it's over, if you think of anybody that you know might be out there in the business, that we might be able to get appointed, what we'll do is we will send you a check for $50. And then for every piece of business that they write, you will receive credit, and that would be 20 basis points on their business. Every quarter, we then send you a check, and so it's a nice way for you to earn some additional funds. So there is no cut in commission for yourself or for your agent that you refer over. It's just our way of saying thank you for the referral. Now, we also do the market reimbursement. This is something that I really like. Wish I'd had this when I was in the field. But for every $100,000 in premium that you write, we'll put $200 into market reimbursement account. So $100,000 in NGL premium, single premium, annuity, it's $200 for every $100,000. And then, of course, we do something like that on the traditional life side as well for the permanent products. So keep that in mind. What that basically does for you is, let's say you want to have a summer picnic for your clients, and let's say you spend $1,000. You send the receipt to us, we turn around, we send you a check for $500 for that, 50% of whatever your expense is. So keep that in mind as you get contracted with us. That's something a lot of our advisors do not take advantage of. Now, when you become a new producer with us, what we do is we reward you with production levels. Again, this is a way of saying welcome aboard, thank you for your business. The first level is based on $100,000. That could be trust premium, single premium, annuity premium. And basically what we do is we give you a choice of one of the three, either $750 in cash or a 2-year producer website. And this is really a phenomenal job that our creative team does here for you. They can have this up and running for you in one business day. Of course, if you don't want to earn it, you can certainly buy it. If you don't have a website, I'd certainly encourage you to call and ask for Tasia. She can visit with you about that. Thirdly, there's the iPad. If you want to go ahead and take that route, you certainly can. Now, some of you may decide you want to wait till you get to the 300,000 level, at which point you can choose the Social Security program in the 3,000 piece mailing. Now, if you're looking to get in front of folks, this is certainly a great way to do it. You're not going to be getting paid to talk about Social Security, but it's when you sit down with that client and review their assets with them. This is a great way to get in front of a lot of seniors, and there are a lot retiring now, so it's a great opportunity for you. You can buy that or earn it. Next is the $2,000 marketing reimbursement. If you want to get just a check for that, you can certainly get that, or $1,500 gift card. Lastly, there's the $500,000 level. Maybe you're good at seminars, you haven't done one for a while, maybe you need a little bit of brushing up, some coaching. We've got two choices for you here. The first is with Matt Gill. Now, that's a 5,000 piece mailing and seminar coaching with him. Or there's the 4,000 piece mailing and seminar coaching with Dave Pimper. Now, I'll tell you, both of these guys do a phenomenal job. I've seen their presentations. They're different styles, but nonetheless, they're very effective. They qualify for our trips. They qualify for a lot of the company trips as well. So they're very good at what they do there. If you opt not to do that, then, of course, there's the Ritz-Carlton Travel Rewards package. You can take advantage of that. We do have the great back office support. We like to think and say from submission to commission. So we'll do everything that you can possibly imagine, whether it be field underwriting if it's a live case, or shopping around to find the best annuity for you. Whatever that case would be, we will shop that. We'll put together the illustrations for you. We'll provide you all the forms via email or mail. Once you write the case, what we do is we truly case manage it for you. So once it comes in the door, what we do is we create a file. We have a team that's what they do. They keep an eye on that case, and they will be reaching out to you by phone and email to let you know what's going on with your case. So it takes that away from you. It's one less thing for you to do so that you can do what you're best at, which is going out and selling. Our paperless contracting is super easy as well. So if you haven't gotten contract with us, I'll show you our website here in just 2 seconds, and then you can go on and go ahead and select any one or all the carriers to get appointed with, and you don't have to fill out paperwork for every one. Our creative marketing department, I'm truly impressed with them. I walk by their office every now and then and see some great stuff that they're working on, but they're going to put together anything that you could possibly think of to promote and market your business. So they're putting together any type of a handout or flyer that you might want, newsletters or postcards. As far as agency solutions as well, they create some beautiful logos. They're going to really, truly help you to brand your business and put that on everything. And as you know from branding, thinking of watching TV, you see something, you recognize it, you'll even maybe hear a song, because a lot of these companies out there, they use a popular song you remember, and you're going to think about that company. So that's what they can help you do, is to really brand yourself. And then the digital solutions as well. If you look at Facebook today, or some of those social media pieces, they can help you get out there any way you want. They can help you set up emails so you can drip mail in your clients and prospects. So a lot of good things they can do. I encourage you to call and ask for the creative team, and they can discuss what they can do for you. And I mentioned our website. It is www.imzinc.com. Everything that you can possibly need or imagine to do your business before, after hours, or on the weekends. Now we're open here from 7:30 till 5:30. So you can contact us for any, maybe it's a form, maybe it's an illustration, whatever it would be. But our website is designed to make sure that if we're not available, you can still conduct your business. And you'll see all the different things that are available there. Again, that contracting is on there. If you want us to email the contract, then we can certainly do that, get you set up right away. Now, I'm going to put a poll up here real quick. So if you would just quickly reply to this, that would be very helpful. So with the Department of Labor ruling that started here a while back, we created our IMS Wealth Management. And what this is really another way for you to help grow your business. It's a way for you to solidify the relationships that you have, obviously increase your income. And so the IMS Wealth Department is just really taken off. We've got great response there. So for anybody who's maybe thinking about getting their Series 65, we can help you with that. We can help you monetarily to help cover the cost of that. Maybe you don't necessarily want to do that, but you want to have the opportunity to have somebody help your clients with maybe their managed money. We can do that, and you can be compensated for that. Or maybe you're with someone right now. The fees are high, maybe the commissions are low. We are very, very competitive in that, and have seen such a tremendous uptick in the business. So what I'd recommend is, if you're interested in speaking with someone in the IMS Wealth team, just mark yes. What I will do then is, after the webinar this morning, I'll have someone give you a call, answer any questions you have, talk about fees, talk about commissions, talk about the benefits and services that you get by working with us here. And keep in mind what kind of a benefit that is for your clients, by helping them with another part of that three-legged stool in that retirement building, through funds, through the managed money there. So mark yes, we'll have one of the folks over there in the IMS Wealth Management team give you a call. And I'm going to close this poll here in 2 seconds. So if you want them to call, just mark yes. If you want to know more about taking the series exam, they can help you with that as well. We have seen a lot of agents that kind of shied away from that, but they've referred business over, and they've gotten compensated for that. So certainly worth your time there. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and close this out. We got about 38% of you want a phone call back, so we'll go ahead and take care of that after the webinar this morning. All right, now something else here. We're real big on training. You'll notice that in our webinar schedule, we've got a webinar going at least 5 times a week, Monday through Friday. Sometimes we'll have more than one a day. But what we do here is we do Life and Annuity Training Academy. And I'm going to put up another quick poll, just kind of gauge some interest here. And I'll tell you that John, our co-presenter here this morning, is also a presenter at this particular event. Now, what we do, we've got one that's coming up here at the end of March. We're closing this door really quick. But what we do is we fly you out on a Wednesday. We do a few short presentations. We also feed you Wednesday evening, provide you some fine adult beverages that evening as well. And then a full day of training on Thursday. We cover all the meals on that day. On Friday, we get back together. We are done about 12:30, 1 o'clock, get you on a plane, get you back home. Now, here's a nice thing. One of the many nice things, I should say. We cover your airfare, we cover your meals, we cover your lodging. So there is no out-of-pocket expense to you at all. And the good thing is what we do is we bring top producers from across the country to present to you some of the marketing, some of the sales techniques, ideas, and concepts that they're using to be the top in their field. This is not just a product training. It's not what it's about. It's about helping you to grow your annuity business, helping you to grow your life business, or maybe incorporating the two. Maybe you're really heavy on one side but want to grow your business on the other side. We talk about the IAMS Wealth team, how that helps to grow your business. So really, it's an all-encompassing training event that's going to help you to grow your business. Now, I'm only seeing 30% of you voted in, so maybe either you've attended one of the events or you're getting top-notch training somewhere else. But I'll tell you right now, we've been doing this as long as I've been here. I just celebrated my 9th anniversary. We do 3 of these a year. The next one is going to be in May. We're still determining the dates, so maybe March doesn't work for you. But I'll tell you right now that of all of them that we've done, we've actually trained or had these events. There's probably been over 1,000 agents that have attended these events, and I have never heard one person yet say this was not a very good use of my time. In fact, the common theme that I hear is this is the best training I've ever attended. So with that said, if you're not getting training now, you're missing the boat. The most successful agents in this industry are those that are constantly learning, constantly reinvesting in themselves. And with that said, if you're not getting the training, I take advantage of it. It's just a few days out of the office. This could be just what you need to change your business or grow your business to the next level. All right, I only got 47% of you that voted in, so I'm going to go ahead and close the poll here. We're going to move on. I know a lot of you have a busy day today. If you change your mind, you want to know more about the training event, give us a call here. We'll go ahead and get you out the application. And again, the one thing about this, it's just an application. You may not be able to attend either one of these upcoming events. We'll have another one probably in the early part of the fall. So it doesn't mean that you're locked in. It's just I want to know more information. Please email me, agenda, etc. Okay, I'm closing the poll. We're moving on. All right, so with that said, that's all that I have right now. So I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to turn this over to John. Of course, if you have any questions, you can certainly type those in the question box. And John, thank you again so much for helping us out here this morning. I'll turn it over to you.
Well, thanks, Mark, and good morning, everybody. I'm here to talk to you today about the NGL Funeral Trust, but before I get started, I just want to tell you a little bit about me. I am an advisor. I'm out in the field meeting with clients through either seminars or client reviews, client referrals. So I'm doing what you do every day. I'm not sitting up in a home office trying to get you to sell a product. I'm actually going to explain to you how this can provide a real value to your existing client base, and also position it for when you meet with new clients. So if there's nothing else at all that you can do for that client, you can use this product to be able to generate revenue for your business. So we're going to cover some things today. We'll talk about the opportunity with the product. We'll talk about the trust that we use to hold the asset. We'll talk about the product we use to fund the trust. We'll give you a few presentation ideas and tools that you can use immediately. And then we'll talk about the company itself, National Guardian Life, and the added value that they bring to the whole process of doing business with a client. So first things first, I like to talk about the opportunity. A mentor of mine brought me this product about 14 years ago. I didn't know anything about it at all. It was very new to me, but he told me I needed to start talking to my clients about it. And he gave me a real simple phrase to ask my clients. So it was, have you prepaid your funeral? A yes or no question. And as we go through the presentation, you'll see how I've utilized that to really not only grow our business with that particular product and help clients, but to be able to help hundreds and hundreds of clients across, or I'm sorry, agents across the country, to be able to position it with their clients. So we'll take a look at the opportunity. Look, we're all in the planning business here, whether you're doing annuities or life insurance or managed money or a combination. But you know, when you bring on a client, you have to consider the options that are available for the client. You have to get a plan in place for them, and then you have to find out where are you going to pull the money from to be able to complete the plan. And what we found is that funeral and final expenses aren't any different. Someone's going to need to determine the services and pay the bill. And the question becomes who and when. It's either going to be the deceased prior to their death, in other words, having their affairs in order, or, as was my situation, it would be the survivors afterward. And just a quick background on that for you. My mom and dad divorced when I was 2 years old. I wasn't real close with my father. I'm the youngest of 5. But I mean, I saw him and we talked, but we never talked about anything about a funeral or what would happen if he passed away. Well, lo and behold, on January 21st of 2011, I found myself sitting in a funeral director's office. Like I said, I'm the youngest of 5. I've always been an entrepreneur in the family. So whenever anything goes on, I'm always the guy that they go to, right, wrong, or indifferent. So in this particular situation, I was getting pelted with questions from the funeral director. What's your dad's mother's maiden name? What was his favorite flower, his favorite hymn, his highest rank in the military? And these were all questions that I did not have the answers to. But what it did make me realize is that what we do for our clients with this National Guardian Life product has real value, because my clients don't worry about that. Their children don't go through that, because if it's done properly, when the person passes away, the child just walks in and they already have all the details of what needs to be done, and the funds are set aside to get that done. So National Guardian Life offers a couple different choices. You can go through a funeral home and do what they call the plan and pay for, or the pre-need, where you're, you know, pre-planning, picking out your casket and all of those things, or you can pay for the anticipated expenses up front, which is final expense. In other words, you're just putting the dollars away today, getting growth on those dollars, but they're being directed to take care of your final expenses when you pass away. Now, we've been doing this so long, it's not uncommon for us to get 1 or 2 passings a month of a client, and we'll always ask the beneficiaries, or I shouldn't say the beneficiaries, but the family members, you know, what was the average cost of the funeral? And we find here in Ohio that that's going to range anywhere from $12,000 to $16,000, right in that area. And so, you know, it's really important. Another good question is to ask someone, you know, if something happened to you yesterday, how would your funeral be paid for today? You're going to be shocked at the answers that you get, and just listen carefully, because that answer will take you right down the road, and you can bring them right down that road with you. So we all know it's a huge opportunity. They did a national survey. 72% of people thought it was a good idea to pre-plan, but 64% had not taken the steps to do so. And we believe the reason for that is, rarely does a husband and wife wake up on a beautiful sunny morning and turn over in bed and look at each other and go, hey, let's go pick our caskets out today. That's just not going to happen. Usually the people who do get it planned have been to a funeral service, and that funeral home now is telling them that they need to pre-plan their funeral. And again, your clients are not any different. I'm working in the same market that you're working in. The only difference between me and the agents who are actively producing for National Guardian Life, if you compared all of us to the people on the call who aren't licensed, it's that we're licensed, we understand the product, and we're offering it to our clients. So the market's huge, as we all know. It's a great place to be for this next 20 years and beyond. 80 million people are going to file for Social Security benefits, and by 2025, there's going to be twice as many seniors as there are today. Can you imagine honing your skills with a product like this over the next 7 years and then waking up to twice as many prospects as you have today? I don't know about you, but that's a pretty exciting proposition from our side of the fence. So when we're talking to our clients about this product, it's all about positioning. We're going to point out to them that 69% of all Americans that are older than 65 are going to need some type of nursing care. And that average care is anywhere from 68 to 78,000 and possibly higher depending on the area you're living in. And it's also increasing every year, the cost of care. So what we tell our clients is, hey, look, 92% of all Americans have no protection or against a long-term care stay to protect their assets. And many of those people are going to need to try to qualify for Medicaid. In other words, they're not going to do any protecting of their assets. One day they're going to get sick, and what they're going to find out is they're going to have to spend all of their money in order to get care. And so those people that need to qualify for Medicaid, this is a perfect proposition for them to be able to protect some of their money from that process. So all of this kind of fits together with NGL between their product and their funeral trust, because we're going to take that protection of life insurance and we're going to blend it with an irrevocable trust. So your clients can plan ahead. They can figure out what money is going to be used for their final expenses, set that money aside, use the trust to hold the money, and that'll help prevent that money from being counted and having to be spent in the situation of a nursing home stay. So what we'll do first is we'll talk about the trust today. So the irrevocable trust, when you use them with National Guardian Life, it's going to give us some big benefits. We're going to get protection from creditors when that money's in the trust. We're going to get income tax-free benefits when the money pays out. The funds are available immediately at death. The trusts are free, so you don't have to pay for this trust. I do business with an elder law attorney. He'll be happy to design a trust to protect some assets. Bring $7,500 to the first meeting because that's where the party starts. But everyone's going to qualify for the free trust assignment with National Guardian Life. We're going to take those death proceeds that are paid from the trust. We're going to pay those funeral expenses. We're not going to have any probate costs or delays in getting it done. And a real key factor here is the funds are totally portable. Well, why is that important? Because if you go prepay at a funeral home, you're locked into that funeral home. If you prepay through National Guardian Life, you can take that plan to any funeral home and use it to pay for the final expenses. One of the things that we see is when we have people we've worked with designing their retirement plan and they have children, if those children have their children, which would be our clients' grandchildren, and the children move due to a job or a relocation, sometimes the grandparents will follow, and this allows them that flexibility of no matter what state they're in, they know they've got a plan that'll work and take care of their final expenses. So the trusts compare very favorable to traditional savings instruments, and I'll let you take a look at that for yourself and just kind of read across and then down. To me, the most important thing is if you look at the irrevocable funeral trust, it's going to meet a yes in every criteria that we're looking for as planners to protect money for a client. So how does the trust work? It's really pretty simple in nature. What we're going to do is we're basically buying a final expense insurance plan, life insurance. And what we're going to do is we're going to use money from wherever we can find it to get that policy bought for the client. Once the client has bought the contract, we are going to 45 days later assign that policy to the irrevocable funeral trust. And that money's going to sit in there and it's actually going to earn interest tax-free until it's paid out at the time of death. Now, what's interesting is when it's paid out, it's such an easy claims process. As an example, a client will call our office. They'll say, hey, my mom passed away. I noticed she had a funeral expense trust with you. Our office will call the funeral home provider that they tell us they're using. We'll get the fax number from that provider. We'll get the contact information, and then we will turn around and call National Guardian Life and start the claims process. We're out of it at that point. National Guardian Life is going to work directly with the funeral director, and within 48 hours, that money is going to be at the funeral home. Now, because we get the protection of the money from creditors and Medicaid, then what's going to happen if we don't use all of the money for a funeral? So say we had 15,000 in there and the funeral was 14, that 1,000 will have to be paid back to the estate of the insured, which will ultimately come back to the family. So there's two trusts with National Guardian Life. The first one we have is the Funeral Expense Trust. I'm going to speak about Ohio because that's where I'm located. I see we have a lot of people on the webinar today, and so we'll show you what your state limits are here in a minute. But what the Funeral Trust will do in Ohio is we can put up to $15,000 per client, and we can exclude those assets immediately if they're trying to qualify for Medicaid or SSI. And what's nice about that is I told you I work with an elder law attorney. A lot of times they'll just come over and go, okay, we've got a couple, the husband's in the nursing home, they're spending down assets to qualify for Medicaid. Can you do $30,000 into a funeral trust for us? So they're very effective, and the elder law attorney definitely approves of it. And then the trust will pay those funeral costs like I showed you, and any excess funds will go to the estate of the insured. Now, National Guardian Life also has an estate planning trust. This has a $100,000 maximum, and this gives you the ability to put that money away, and after 5 years, that money is 100% protected from a nursing home stay to be spent down. Now, the funds, if you only have an NGL estate planning trust, you didn't do the funeral trust, we are only dealing with the estate planning trust. It's the same procedure. The funeral home will get paid out of that, but any excess funds go to a designated beneficiary of the insured's estate. So no probate, no anything, it just pays out to the beneficiaries. So when I speak at academies or I do these webinars, one of the first questions I get is, John, when do I use which trust? Well, for the funeral expense trust, it's great for crises planning. If you have a client who even maybe one of the spouses, or you're dealing with kids and one of the parents is in a nursing home, you can write this on them without even seeing the person in the nursing home. So either the child or the spouse can sign for them. Maybe you're dealing with someone when Medicaid might be possible within 5 years, so they're starting to go through their money. They're saying, hey, you know, we're going to run out within 5 years. It's a great tool for that to protect some of those dollars. And sometimes when we do our seminars and clients come in and I ask them if they prepaid their funeral, they're perfectly healthy. There's no crisis. They just want to know that they've got the money set aside for the funeral and they don't have to deal with it anymore. And then that's what we'll do for them, is put that money into the funeral expense trust. Now, a lot of times we'll get clients where Medicaid is a non-issue now, 5 years from now, or maybe never. I like to use my favorite story of a couple of great clients of mine who send me literally at least a referral a month. But when I met them from a seminar, they told me, look, we've got $18,000 a month in income coming in. We've got great savings. We're never going to spend our money on long-term care insurance, but we would like to put $100,000 away on each of us so that we know that no matter what happens, that money plus the growth will always go to our children. So that's what we did. We're about 4 years into that program right now. So at the end of next year, you know, that money's 100% protected. So all they wanted to do was easily transfer a limited amount of wealth to their children. But one of the big things is charities. How many times have you talked to somebody that said, well, you know, in my will, or I've got money in the bank that is going to go to my church or my charity? Well, that's a great plan unless you get sick and need nursing home care, because those monies are now a countable asset and could be lost. If you put the money into the estate planning trust with the beneficiary being the charity, you're going to get that money protected. And just to kind of throw this number at you, baby boomers contribute an estimated $61.9 billion per year to charity. 61.9 billion. Get your share of that and show them a way to make sure that it's going to go where they want it to go, because that's the real opportunity. And we've seen, Mark and I have had this discussion, we've seen the amount of money going into this just kind of explode exponentially across the board. So that's a great opportunity for you. So let's talk about the product itself that we use. It's called the NGL Asset Guard. It's basically a fixed rate life insurance product, and then we're going to combine it with that funeral trust option to give the client the protection of knowing the money will be there when they need it the most. Now, I did see we have a lot of people on here from different states, so we'll go to the state limits, and I'll give you a sales idea here that gets lost on a lot of agents when they contract. So Mark, if you go to that state limits, next one, there we go. So I'm in Ohio, as you can see, for the funeral trust, I can do 15,000, and then I can do 100,000 in the estate planning trust. It's a combination of the two up to 100,000. So if I have a client, I wrote 15,000 funeral trust, and they go, hey, we want to put money in the estate planning trust, they can put another 85. It can only be up to 100 total. So let's look at a state let's go to Florida, Mark. So Florida, you're not allowed to do the funeral trust, but you can do the estate planning trust. So what I've shared with client or agents who are in these states is you can still do the planning job for the client, even if they only want to put 15,000 away. Just use the estate planning trust. The only difference is that it's a 5-year look back provision. Well, guess what? I'd rather have 5 years and know that I've got a chance to get through the 5 years and protect the money than not doing any planning at all to protect my money. So you can still get the job done. You may have to be a little creative, but that's what Mark and his team is there for, to kind of help you out with that. So you can skip the next one, Mark. We'll go to this one here. There's everything that's going to be paid for by the irrevocable funeral trust, even down to the fact if you have a client that passed away on vacation and you needed to get the deceased body back. That's not free, but it will cover it in here, the transfer of the deceased. So everything you would need to have a quality funeral for a loved one is going to be able to be paid out of this irrevocable funeral trust. So for today's purpose, and because it's the only thing we do in our practice, we're going to talk about single pay. With this product, you can write from $500 to $100,000, and you get to give your client a growth rate. In other words, what interest are they going to earn? I will just tell you, you get to pick that rate for a client. Here at Inting Financial Services, we picked a rate and we give the client, every client, that same rate. We don't want to be picking one for one client and one for another. It's just a good way to run your practice. You never have to explain why you gave someone a different rate. There's one health question, and the nice thing about that is everybody is going to qualify for the program. You are never going to be wasting your time on a deal. So you can get this issued anywhere from 0 to 99 years old. How nice is that to be able to say to a client, hey, you know, you've got all this extra money laying in the bank or laying in an annuity that you're not using. Why don't you set some of these up for your grandchildren? I mean, if you really think about it, they could put 10,000 away, and by the time that grandchildren accesses it way down the road, that's going to be a pretty nice benefit. And I'll show you the commission on writing a child when we get down the road here, and I think you'll find it well worth your time. So we're going to have one health question. If they answer no, it's a standard issue. If they answer yes, it's a guaranteed issue. All the single pay are going to be immediate full death benefit. So if we write on somebody, we know for fact that that benefit's going to pay. We don't have to jump through any hoops or explain ourselves down the road. And here's the other nice thing. It couldn't be easier to do. Now, I like to tell the story about when I first got into the annuity business back in 1993. I wrote my very first annuity. It was a $25,000 annuity. A dry cleaner owner in Marion, Ohio, wrote the check to me. I couldn't believe, number one, that somebody had $25,000 or that they would let me walk out with it. But what I found out was back then, my application to do an annuity was 3 pages, and the last page was the receipt. So we all know that's changed. If you're in the annuity business, managed money business, life insurance business, these applications sometimes are 30 and 40 pages. But with National Guardian Life, we've simplified the process for you. 2 pieces of paper, and you're done writing your application. Well, I should say 3, because you are going to have to put your state replacement form in there as well. So here's what the application looks like. At the top of it, it's just going to be all the basic information that you're going to need from the client, plus the health question down there, the yes or no question. Then you'll see on the next slide here that you're going to see the bottom of the application where the client's just going to sign that they understand and accept what you're doing. And then this last page will be a receipt. If they give you cash with app, you can write them a receipt. And then the next form is going to be your disclosure form. This one we're showing you the funeral expense. There is a separate one for the estate planning trust. So you'll have them sign off on that. And then you will run into a situation if you're doing a funeral trust where, like, the attorney will come over to me and he'll say, hey, we don't want to wait 45 days for that money to go into the trust. We want it to go in immediately. Down here, we can waive the 45 days and have National Guardian Life get it into that trust immediately to help that situation for the client. So when you're presenting it to clients, it's a real simple presentation. If you're new to this, I'm going to give you an idea on what I would do. Is once I became contracted, I understood the product, and I had my ducks in a row, I would start visiting clients I've already done business with. And let me tell you why that's important. The same thing I'm going to tell you to do with your existing clients is exactly what I did this past Monday with one of my clients, but I wasn't talking to him about NGL. I was talking to him about a $70,000 single premium life sale. But when I went into him, I started the conversation just like this. Hey, Marianne and Bob, I want to ask you a question. Would you agree over the time we've worked together that everything that I've brought to the table, explained to you, and implemented has worked out the way that I said it would? Well, I knew the answer to that question. They were like, yeah, John, absolutely. Well, if I were you and I were doing NGL, I would say to them next, well, hey, one of the holes that we found in a lot of our clients' planning process is they haven't taken the time to put money away to take care of their final expenses. And I'm going to share with you something that we need to implement today to make sure that we take care of that for you. I'm assuming the sale. Until they tell me no, I'm using phrases like we're going to implement, I'm going to show you where we're going to get the money. So again, you have trust with those people. They like you already. They've done business with you. What a better place to start practicing your skills. So once you've done that, then you've got to be able to present that funeral trust funding. So you're going to stress the benefits of planning ahead. You're going to tell them it can be used with any funeral home. And a lot of times you'll hear from a client, well, I was thinking about going down and prepaying at the funeral home. If I could give you guys and ladies a good piece of advice out there, if you will get on your Google machine and type in funeral home directors accused of fraud and pull it up, I don't care where you live, you're going to see a big article. There was one that I just read yesterday. I had gotten an email, and so I opened it up and I took a look at it, and it was unbelievable. It was in West Virginia, and what had happened is the funeral director was sentenced to 30 years in prison. He had cashed out the pre-need funeral arrangements for more than 100 people who weren't actually dead. So they weren't even dead. So the nice thing you can tell your client is by putting the money directly with the insurance company, you know no one else's hands are going to touch that money, and it's going to be there when your client needs it the most. So when we talk about finding money, one of my favorite things that gets overlooked the most is using a 1035 exchange to get the cash value from an old life policy over to National Guardian Life. Mark, if you can just click that next box there for me, thank you. So what happens, and we do a lot of this in our practice, and we're actually seeing a lot of this come in from agents across the country, is most of your clients do not realize if they own life insurance that has cash value. So maybe it's an old paid up policy, maybe it's a universal life policy that's going to explode on them and they don't want to pay premium. They don't understand that when they die, they don't get both numbers. They don't get the cash value and the death benefit. They get whatever is bigger. So what we do is we'll go into a client, we'll put them on speakerphone, we'll call their life insurance company, we'll find out their cash value. The reason we do the speakerphone is if we tell them what the situation is, it's just us telling them. If they're hearing it from the horse's mouth, it's a totally different story. So our rule of thumb is if you're within 25%, your cash value is within 25% of your death benefit, we believe it's a suitable thing to do for the client. So as an example, we just did one on a client, $15,000 in cash value, $20,000 in death benefit. Client told us that money is to be used to take care of their funeral. We explained to them leaving it in the life insurance policy, if they get sick and go to a nursing home, they're going to have to spend the 15 grand. If we take the 15 grand and move it over into the irrevocable funeral trust, we're going to protect it immediately. Plus, it's going to continue to grow because it's going to be paying tax-free interest in there. So utilize that 1035 exchange, look at all the old life policies, call and get those cash values, and then we all get paid to do one thing in this business, close the sale. So you're going to give your clients that peace of mind of knowing they planned ahead and their funds are protected. You'll get the feeling of knowing you've done a good job for them and their family, and it's a win-win for everybody. So where do you find the money at? The money's everywhere. You would be surprised if you asked a client, have you pre-planned your funeral? And they tell you no. And the next question is, well, how do you plan on doing that? We hear a lot of times, well, my daughter knows I have a CD at the bank. It's designed just for that. That's what we have it there for. Well, do you want to leave it susceptible to low interest rates and happen to spend it on a nursing home? Doesn't it make more sense to put it into the funeral trust if that's what the intention of the money is anyway? Maybe you have annuities. You're a big annuity producer. You didn't set up any trails on your annuity business, and that dead money is just laying there. If you would say to your client that, hey, we're going to take this money that's countable for a nursing home, we're going to take out the penalty-free amount, we're going to pay the taxes on it, and we're going to move that money over into the funeral trust to protect it. A lot of agents will say to me, well, you know, my clients don't want to pay the taxes. Wow, what a great story now. We just had the tax code lowered, and that tax code is really going to be beneficial to a lot of older clients in their tax situation. So let's get the money out at their tax rate and not leave it to their kids who are working, have careers that may be in a higher tax bracket. So we will say to the client this, Mr. and Mrs. Jones, if you really think about it, we're not even buying anything today. We're actually taking money that's in our left pocket and we're just repositioning it into our right pocket to protect it and know that you have your affairs in order. It's a very powerful statement to a client. So the clients already have the money. Again, it's not new money. Now on this slide here, I had some really bad news. I went on to order brochures. We use the two that are flanking that Understanding Medicaid, the Funeral Expense Trust and the Estate Planning Trust. we will be changing this slide. I've used this since I've been doing business with them. They've changed the brochure. They still have them. They just look different. But those are the two I would recommend you get. You put your company information on the back of it, and you start getting it into the hands of your clients, because it's just a trifold that's very, very easy to understand. So National Guardian Life itself, they've been in business well over 100 years. I think it's 106 now. But they are just, I'm going to say something. I've done business with a lot of insurance companies since 1987, and I have never had one issue with National Guardian Life. From submitting a contract, if I submitted a piece of business today, next Tuesday, that money is going to be in my bank account if it's a cash with app. If it's a 1035 exchange, within about 3 weeks, they're going to have the money in-house. They are so solid to do business with. They make you feel like you're the only person that they have to do business with that day. So anyway, just a great company to line yourself with. When you get on their website, this is what their agent website looks like. They have PowerPoint presentations for point of sale. They have great marketing pieces that you can brand to your company name. And then any supplies, applications, rates. And then that most important thing to me is that bottom number on the left side, that 1-800 number. I don't care if you're sitting in with a client and you need an answer, call it. You're going to get someone to pick the phone up in about 20 to 30 seconds is what my experience has been, and they are there to help you succeed. So why sell the product? Your clients need it. They're thinking about it. It's a great income opportunity for your business. The trusts are free. It can be used at any funeral home. We have a great company backing us. You're going to get peace of mind for your clients, and it's easy to do. 2 pieces of paper and your state replacement form, and you're done. But everybody wants to talk about this, the compensation. And so what I did here is I just said, hey, if you're just an advisor out doing reviews, you're meeting with a couple of couples each month, and you just did $10,000 of premium on each spouse, and you did 20 couples a year, so I'm giving you 2 months vacation there, you're going to add a minimum of $40,000 to your annual bottom line. To me, and the reason we do it is I love knowing that I have a complimentary tool to offer to my clients that basically is going to cover all of my business expenses for the year, other than probably our marketing. But you can do this too, and with the whole DOL thing coming down, we're going to be at a point where you're going to be thankful that you have other income producing strategies for your business, not just relying on an annuity sale to get by. It's always great to have other opportunities to enhance your income in your business. So on the next slide, we're going to look at the left top corner. This is showing a 2% growth rate for the client, putting in anywhere from $0 to $60,000. If you look there at age 61 to 65, if you wrote a couple that was healthy, that's a 13.31% commission. So on 20 grand, that's almost $3,000 for doing a review with a client. But look at that 0 to 40. If you go there, so if they had grandchildren and you could, or children who are irresponsible that they wanted to buy a plan on, the commission is almost 20% on this product. So you can see where you can definitely easily do 40,000 plus in commission a year and help a lot of people while you're doing it. So some of the trips that NGL will put on have been spectacular. The next one that they have coming up is going to be into Punta Cana Resort. They always do a fantastic job on putting on their trips, and the reason I like top producer trips is I like to find out the people who are doing the best job and then find out what they're doing. I don't need to reinvent the wheel. I just need to duplicate what people are doing, and hopefully we'll give you some of that today that you can take with you to use. So some of the biggest challenges, getting comfortable with the concept. When I sold that first annuity back in 1993, heck, I don't even know if I actually totally knew what I was doing. I had the guts and the drive. But today I could teach a class on annuities. We've written well in excess of 150 to 200 million dollars of annuity premium. But it's not because I'm the smartest guy in the world. It's repetition. It's getting comfortable with the concept, understanding the product, learning how to present it, stressing the benefits of it, and then keeping it on the top of your mind every client every day. Have you prepaid your funeral? Yes or no question. You get in the habit of asking that, and I guarantee you, you're going to write business with National Guardian Life. So what happened with us is we designed this guide for beneficiaries, which once you're licensed with National Guardian Life, we'll make this available to you through IMES. And the reason I developed this guide was we had a big case, about $500,000 in annuity premium. The mom had died. The daughter called our office. I got her on the phone and I said, hey, let's set up an appointment so we can help you with all your claims paperwork. And I was given the answer that I didn't need to worry about that. The guy down at the bank said he'd be more than willing to take his time to help walk them all through it. And that was $500,000 that we had written in premium, and I made a determination that that was not going to happen to us again. So we created this guide. We went out and saw our clients. We got it into as many houses as we possibly could. And during that process, we ended up over a 6-month period, because we were getting all the new data in the houses, we ended up writing about $1.5 million of additional annuity premium, about 200,000 in single premium life, and about 150 in National Guardian Life. And the reason for that was we were out there providing a value to the client with the guide of what their beneficiaries were going to need to do, but we were also making sure that we were cemented in that house to get the phone call if someone passed away, because we want to be the ones working with the assets, with the spouse, or with the next generation. So on the next page here, you'll see this guide to beneficiaries. Basically on ours, it says, for help selling my estate, call my advisor at Inting Financial Services. Got our company logo. And then inside of it, it has a welcome letter from me explaining the importance of it and why we're doing it for the client. And then it's got a bunch of information down to what letters they should write to Social Security, to the pension department, everything they would need at a passing. But this is where you're really going to find the value is once you presented them with it, you need to say to them, hey, we're going to update all your financial information so that if I had never met you before, I could walk in, I could pick up this financial organizer and this beneficiary guide, and I could start settling your estate without ever have met you. And so what will happen is the clients kind of open up to that, and you think your clients tell you everything they have. I got news for you. Even a couple of our best clients, we didn't know everything that they didn't share with us, but this brought it to the table. So if you look at the next page of this, it's just going to be some more general information. Next page, we're starting to get into the finances of everything. And then if you go to the next page, you'll see question 8, have you prepaid your funeral? It's a yes or no question. Now, if they tell us no, we're not going to just launch into a sales presentation. But if they tell us yes, they have, we are going to ask them, do you have any children or charities that you know of a specific amount of money that you would like to make sure that goes to them and not to the nursing home? And then be quiet. And then they're going to tell you yes or no, and they'll elaborate, and that'll lead to the estate planning sale, estate planning trust sale. So that's just the rest of it there, Mark, on the organizer. That's my presentation on National Guardian Life. I'm certainly open to taking some questions if we have them. So, Mark, I'll let you take it from there.
Okay, so I put a quick pull up here real quick if you want to go ahead and get contract with National Guardian Life. Of course, I'll email that over to you here once we're done. It's very simple. You just complete that. You email it back to me. And, of course, I'll email the recording of the webinar here this morning. And John and I have been doing this for several years now. So if you have any questions, you can certainly call the office, ask for me. and we'll address any questions that you have. So in the meantime, if you do have some, maybe you have some questions about John's experience in offering this product. Did a phenomenal job of covering that, but I would certainly take advantage of his time here this morning and type any questions that you might have in the question box, and we'll go ahead and get those addressed. Otherwise, while we're doing that, one thing I want to point out to you is if you have not been out to our website, again, it is www.imsinc.com, so IAMSINC.com. You'll notice on there there's a training tab. If you click on that, you will see webinars. You can go down there, and you will be able to see all the webinars we have scheduled for the month. And then what we do then is we'll have the link there. So if you want to register for it, you click on that, and then it'll go ahead and it'll mark it in your calendar for you as a reminder. Otherwise, there's all of the recorded webinars as well from previous weeks, months, years. You can certainly go out there and check all those out. So Greg is asking me what's John's full name. His name is John Enting. Okay. John, looks like our question box is pretty well empty. So
well, you know what that means, Mark, because we usually have a bunch of them. That means I did a really good job today.
You know,
I'm just kidding.
I know. It certainly isn't the first time you've done this webinar. Well, John, thank you so much for taking time out of your busy day and allowing us this opportunity to learn more about the product.
Well, thank you for having me, and more importantly, thank you to everybody that's on the call, because I know you're doing what I do every day. It's not easy, but it is doable, and I appreciate your time this morning.
For sure, for sure. And folks, I will be giving you a call here as well. Just see if you have any questions, see what else we can do to help you. I can email you out brochures as well. So expect a call from me here. If not today, then we'll follow up again with you here on Monday. So have a great weekend, and we'll look forward to speaking with all of you soon. Thank you much.